Alright, this is my Farmall Super A, 1952. I'm rebuilding the steering box in it because I had about a full turn of play. Mine was caused by this top bearing right here. It's up inside here. Bearing was completely, it was whipped, it was done. So the shaft was just floating inside there. When you would turn the wheel, the shaft, the pitman arm would go up and down because that shaft was just floating around in there. So I'm replacing that, but all kind of, because there's no videos on YouTube on this steering box that I can find. So I figured I'd make one real quick. They come apart pretty easy. There's really nothing going on inside there. Your steering shaft, which is right here. You pull your steering wheel off. Undo this plug right here. There's a plug right here. And you just take it off. And your steering shaft comes right on through. Usually you can leave the bearing and everything right on it. You don't have to take the castle nut off. Usually you can just steer your wheel. I took a brass hammer, hammered it this way, and it came right out. And then you're going to want to pull the pitman arm off the bottom. This right here, this bolster goes just like that up to here. You'll see your Super 8, you'll see that on there. This pitman arm, which is going to be hanging out of the bottom here, like so. You're going to take a puller. I just got this at Harbor Freight. I think it was like 12 bucks. Pull that pitman arm off. It's going to come off this shaft right here. And then you can unbolt this and it'll fall right out of there. Should fall right out of there. Now if the bearing was bad like mine, which you can see the pieces down there everywhere, this is just going to fall out too. If that happens, it's kind of a pain. You know, you can get that race out of there. I just pulled the plug on top here and took a punch and got that race out pretty easy. And that's, if I can show you inside there, that bearing goes up inside there, and there's actually a keeper that holds the bearing up there. So this would be, you know, on the shaft. You know, this bearing would go on here, and then there's your keeper. And then also on top of, there's a clip that holds the bearing up here. Now if that clip popped off, because it ain't much of a clip, it's just a piece of metal, and I lost mine, I don't even know where it's at. But if that pops off, it'll do the same thing. This shaft is just going to be floating around inside there. So you're going to get a lot of slop in the steering. But like I said, in my case, this bearing was completely shot. So, you know, like I said, after you get that off, you can turn this and unbolt the bolts for this keeper, and then everything will come right off. Or that'll just fall off anyway. Most likely will, because you're going to have a problem with one of these. A lot of people have this, like I said, the pitman arm goes on right here. And a lot of people have this bolt will loosen up over time, and it'll just waller this keyway out right here. A lot of guys take and weld this back up and grind it back down and get a keyway that'll fit in there. And obviously you'd have to cut and trim on that too to get it in there. But they'd both be junk, so it really doesn't matter, because they're both going to be ruined from being wallered out. So if you're going to fix it like that, that's, you know, what does it matter, because they're both junk anyway. But these sell these new. But the kit you buy at Steiner does not come with this bearing right here. The replacement Timken bearing is a 305L. I got it at Napa. This is not a Timken, I don't know what it is, but it's just a cheaper one. But this clip doesn't need to be here. This is just for a transmission or whatever, so I grabbed this one and put it on there because it was cheap. I'm going to take this clip off, put it back up inside there. So that's, I mean, there's really not much else to it. They're pretty simple. If you got slop, obviously gears can be worn out. Mine are perfect. You know, you've got this problem here that I was talking about, the top bearing, or if that clip pops off, you know, the shaft's gonna be floating up and down. You've got sleeves. You've got sleeves right here, metal sleeves, and a seal. I pulled my seal out and broke that. And you've got sleeves in here. Now they do sell those at like Steiner. You can get this sleeve, and it comes with this sleeve, that seal, and this bearing, and a couple other things. I forget what else there is off the top of my head, but it does not come with this bearing, which I don't know why. I can't figure that one out, but I mean, it might. But I asked them if it did, and they said it didn't. But there's two bearings in the picture. I don't know what else they'd be, but anyway, that's all I needed was the bearing, so I got it. And they sell the seal at Napa too. It's a I forget what it is, but it's I just measured mine. It's exactly a 1-inch shaft, and I think it's a 1.65 opening on that, I think, or something. But yeah, there's not much in there. Pretty simple. I hope it helps somebody out. Thank you. Have a good day.